we'll call this monthly meeting of the North Liberty Library Board of Trustees to order.
Fantastic. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Did you guys have any additions or changes to the agenda?
No.
So I'll guide through the meeting because Jessie does not have an agenda there, or in front of her. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Would someone like to move approval?
Oh my gosh, I just forgot.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last
I
month.
second it.
We'll get there, Laura. It's fine.
All right. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Minutes are approved. So next we have the staff introduction. We have Emily with us tonight to tell us all the fabulous things she's been doing.
Hi, Emily.
Hello, how is everyone?
How are you?
Great, really good, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a little bit different this time than my usual presentation, but I'm happy to be able to see all of you and participate tonight. It's something fun to do for me, so it's nice. We are doing, as I'm sure you know, a lot of you have participated in the hop that we're doing, and a big part of that for me is the primary hop. Andrew had noticed that statistics were dropping on picture books a little bit and came up with an idea about how we can try to get those out to people because it's more a browsing collection. We have determined, or at least that's what we think happened. People come in and browse. They don't really have like specific titles that they want. So he had an idea that we just pull a certain number of books, put them in, and we have them like a ready to go grab bag. And so we've been doing that and calling it Primary Hop. We put a library's dozen, which we are doing 13. At first, we thought it'd be really great to pull 13 bags per day. And then that is about 360 books, which took me about an hour and a half to pull, not counting cleaning them or putting them in the bags. And I couldn't imagine doing that every day. So we dropped it down to 5, which seems to be really good. We haven't, I don't think there's been one day where we've actually run out. For the maintenance in the library, now we dropped that down to 6. So we're doing 6 books just for the duration of the time where our collection is inaccessible for the week. So we're handing those out, and then we'll be going back to the 12 or 13, hopefully next week or the week after. In addition to that, I am doing lives once a week. I'm doing Kelly, Aaron, Amy, me, and Kayla all do a live at 10:30 in the morning. I always do a story time. Amy and Kelly are doing some different things, which is really fun to switch it up. And then we are looking forward to summer reading. Most of my day today was spent thinking about craft kits and how to put them together. So we are we're trying to think about how many children in the city need or would want us to participate in the summer reading program. So we're kind of trying to think about a big number and get these kits made for kids. We have, between Kayla, Aaron, and myself, have 8 weeks of kits to do. So getting all of our craft supplies together and ideas and putting those together. Once a week, we will do a live presentation. We have not figured out if it's going to be on Zoom or if it'll be on Facebook Live. We haven't decided what's best for our audience in that aspect, but we'll do a demonstration of whatever craft it is. So the kids and families can follow along with us, or they can watch it recorded and do it later. So we assume people have things like glue and scissors and paint, if paint needed, themselves, and we'll kind of give everything else. So for example, we're doing a dragon puppet craft, kind of like a new Chinese New Year, and we'll give everything, the paper, the googly eyes, the straws to put the dragon on, but we assume that people have scissors to cut the paper and glue to put it together. So that has been taking up most of my day today was doing that, and so it's right at like the forefront of my brain, and very much something that, as Aaron had said, is taking up a lot of space in my brain today to get those all organized and together. Although I'm really excited about it, I think it'll be really fun to see how this kind of experiment goes over with everyone. Maybe something we want to continue in the future, not possibly on the scale, but in some aspect, it'll be fun to see. Other things, we are keeping one performer for me. Erin does have some other ones. I think she's got 3 other ones, but we're keeping one large performer who agreed to do a live, one live and one taped show. So she is going to come and perform live on Zoom, and then we're able to record the performance and then play it one more time. So we'll do an evening or a weekend showing of that one as well. Her name is Miss Carol, and she does a music and movement program for kids. It's really fun. We've had her a couple times in the past, and she's really great. So I'm excited for that. A little bit of normalness to come back. Other than that, also working on Book Move. So that's been fun. It's always nice to stretch your brain in other organizational ways and creative ways to kind of think about different things. And I don't think I have anything else, but if anyone has any questions, I would love to field them.
I don't have a question, but I loved your fort.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, I did kind of not forget, just pushed it to the back of my brain about that. I'm glad you liked it. I think I will be doing more of those. I don't want to saturate the market, if you will, with those, but I had a really fun time and my kids had a super fun time. And just like the icing on the cake that we made it on the front page of the paper, my mom was calling me, my aunts were calling me. It was very fun. My kids just like thought that was super, super cool. So kind of a more like, I'll call it informal, just like a PJ story time where I'll just have my kids make up my fort and I'll maybe get into the fort a little bit more and read it. And I thought it might be fun if kids really kind of enjoy that. It's something to do, especially when the weather gets nicer and it's a little bit lighter out in the evening, and or even if they can go outside and do it. I thought that would be fun. So yeah, thanks, Jess.
Any other questions for Emily? No, well, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. See you later, everyone.
Bye, take care.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So next up is the budget report. If you guys have seen, I have all the amendments in now, so you can see that, and we're leveling off like I assumed we would, and actually we're a little bit below. We're about 3%, about 2% below average for this time of year, which is about 83%. We're sitting right at just below 81% of the total services. So doing well. I will see that ramp up a little bit because of the summer reading program and the way we're handling it. We'll be spending a little bit of additional money on that. We talked a lot about, and I know Emily mentioned it, about how many packets to create and how we wanted to do that. And initially they had thought about 150 packets. And I was a little bit concerned about making it equitable for everyone, but still not. There's the other flip side is that we don't know how many kids are going to participate or how many are going to take it. So we thought we'd err on the side of caution because we thought of all the other ways we can put them in anytime a kid's book goes out of the door, we can put a kit in there. There's lots of ways we can use those leftover kits. Amy got a little panicky during our meeting, and then she said, okay, so adults, I'm not going to make 480 adult packets. I'm like, no. So we'll do about 50 adult packets and 50 teen, and then for the youngers, we'll do more packets. And when I say we, I mean those wonderful people who run those programs. And I don't know if I didn't hear her mention it, so I will mention it. That we're going to be putting a big shout out for volunteers. It's going to be a committed volunteer gig, but like trying to get a bunch of people to make like 20 to 30 each week so they're not doing 480 of them or whatever. We'll probably do that many at least the first couple of weeks and then kind of see how it plays out and what it looks like and adjust from there. It's not like it's good dry goods it's not like it's perishables that we can't use up for some other things. So, and since we have the funding, we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity, and it's actually an opportunity for us to reach kiddos that might otherwise not participate. So it just takes on a different look this year. it's been challenging. I think across the country, especially the children's librarians are sort of mourning this loss of face-to-face, but it's exciting also to see what they're coming up with and what they're doing. So, and as Emily mentioned, the next thing on my report is the Press Citizen article. When Dick Hakes asked us if he does some freelance work for the Press Citizen, and he's very, very good about remembering us in those stories that he writes. So he asked if he could do something on the story, what we're doing, just our services. So he covered us and sent that email out, said it was done, and this is what he was putting in the paper. And the next morning, there it was above the fold, and I was like, wow, we made the headline story of the Press Citizen. So that was pretty cool. And Emily's kiddos, so that was fun. We've also had a couple other fun things. Just it's fun to see the news going out that's more positive. That we received, I got an email from a librarian in Tuscany, Italy, who is writing a story on checking out cake pans. And so she had found Andrew's article where he was pictured in the Gazette and asked if she could feature that picture in her story. So I thought that was really fun. Andrew was amazed and laughing. I said, "You are now internationally famous." So I don't know when that'll come out, or I hope they'll send it to us. She said they would, and that they would acknowledge it was the North Liberty Library in Iowa. So that's kind of cool. And then I also had a call last week from a freelance reporter. Can you guys hear my dogs? I'm really sorry if you can't. They're ridiculous. Interview from a freelance reporter who was writing about the rural library's response to COVID. Oh my goodness. And the pandemic. And so it will be featured in the Rural Assembly, which is a nonprofit rural policy organization in the United States. So that was kind of cool. She was going to send me the article, but she did not. So I'm going to have to take a search and see if I can find it. She told me she'd just been featured in another article in another paper that was on the picture glamour shots. And it was, I went and looked it up. It was pretty great. That was fun. So then just moving on to the library operations update. And Laura Wagner, our library assistant, did give me a notification that she'll be leaving in July instead of now. We are happy to keep her for a little while, but we also know that she is going to spread her wings and fly. She's hoping to head out to Portland and look for a job out there where her brother lives. So we will have that position open, and then we do have the library assistant one position that we have budgeted for FY21. So we will be looking at hiring that position as well. And it's going to be interesting to think about hiring during this time and how we can introduce training and things. So we will see where we are. I'm going to go ahead and start advertising because we can interview on Skype. And then we'll see if we end up when we can bring someone on board and have them in the library. We are status quo with operations. We are not going to be opening anytime real soon. Nick Burgess, our communications director, is putting out a press release actually probably tonight. He just sent it to me to review right before this meeting. And to Shelley, just building wide, just announcing that we've had like a lot of people tugging on the doors and wanting to know when we're going to open. And we're explaining, just following the procedure, that we are proceeding with caution and with the safety of our community and our staff in mind. I've been reading a lot about opening stories, and there's been some good stories and a lot of stress and a lot of, people concerned about the number of people coming in the building at once. And we are making some good plans. We have some new acrylic shields that are going to go up on the circ desk that we just got delivered last week, and Melanie is ordering the 6 foot apart reminders to put in the hallway. Obviously, with our flooring, we will not be sticking them around the stacks. Our plan is to have probably one person per shelving area at a time. So we'll ask people to not go down the same aisle at the same time. Probably not the one-way thing as much as just one person in the space. And Melanie's really good with that spatial stuff, so she's been working on some plans for that. When it comes to, we started painting restrooms, the staff did, and realized quickly that we should probably leave it to the experts because everyone has a little bit of different skill set. And maybe some people probably shouldn't have been painting that work. So I do have a painting contractor. I had already set that up, but I just thought we might save the money since we were all in the library. Hi, Mike. So we will have him come in on Wednesday, and he's going to take a little money off for the paint that I already bought. finish up and clean up what we already did. So he's going to do the meeting rooms and study rooms and the restrooms. So we'll get lots of little projects done that need to be done while we're closed. We hope, and as I mentioned, the floor, we already talked about the carpet a little bit, but Andrew has a really good mind for logic. So he's in math. So he's been looking at square footage or cubic square feet and figuring out how much space the books will take up when they're pulled off the shelves. And we've taken all the books off the youth and children's shelves. And then today we started pulling and he started, I guess, on Friday, pulling the fantasy and all the adult stuff that's on that east side of the pillars so that they can pull those down. We were planning to leave all those on and then shift them on Friday, but realized quickly that there'll be 4 people on Friday and that's probably not enough to get all of those books shifted. So we're getting a jump on it with borrowed tables from the rec. They'll be running down the aisles and everywhere. But we are planning to keep up with the library hop, partly in light of it following the beautiful story in the Press Citizen, and partly because we're thinking we can do some. It just will have some adjustments to make, like we can't get to some of the children's books and things like that until afterward. So we've been moving the furniture, and I'm just laid out kind of just the dates. It'll be the next 2 weeks. And at the same time, they are resurfacing our parking lot. So all sorts of stuff going on. And I hope that the parking lot resurface and the trucks from the carpeting don't clash and run together. This resurfacing of the parking lot is an infrared process that I don't quite understand, but they basically heat it up to this really high heat and then lift the broken pieces and add stuff, and I don't know, but it's pretty cool, I guess. Just wanted to mention some professional stuff that's going on. I was asked to present on library policy to a Library 2.0 conference, which is a national conference that's online coming up in June. So I've actually given a couple presentations on policy at Arkansas Public Library Association a few years ago and at the Association for Rural and Small Libraries. So I will, it's like a 20-minute presentation as opposed to a 50. So I'll be scaling back and down, but I've been getting ready for that. Jen is presenting this week also. I think she mentions in her thing to the Florida folks. This is something that's been coming this way for a while on the Stork Story Time. So that's exciting. And then ARSL, our proposal got accepted, which is called 80 years around the library in 80 years. And it's 4 of us who have been in libraries for all told 80 years, talking about various and sundry library things. And I do believe they are wanting me to talk about policy at that too. So I was recently also acted as a co-facilitator with Kathy Zapatella, who's an Ohio librarian who is our president next year of the ARSL membership. So we did a 50-minute panel discussion, just talking about, well, we were just really moderating it. People just took it away and talked about just various things that we're dealing with, challenges with the pandemic. We started that on April 23rd, and we've held it weekly. I lined up the speakers for the last 4, and I've kind of passed the ball on to someone else now. I've decided that's enough for me to do. I reached out to the people and got them lined up for those. And then I did one where neither of the speakers were on time, and I was panicking in the room, even though it's not my program. But we stumbled through. So we've had about 65 people a week in those, and they've just been a lot of free-for-all talk about what's going on and how we're responding to different things and challenges that we're facing. We flipped it this week and did one. They called me and asked me. I said, well, I'm not in charge, so you don't have to ask my permission. But we flipped it and did one on summer reading this week and let them focus on summer reading. And next week we're doing one on story hours. And we're going to do a little more focused hours, but they're going to go on for the foreseeable future every week. It's been really lovely just to see other faces in our organization and talk about things that are happening to all of us. It feels good to commiserate and know that we're all in this together for real. And then I talk a little bit about the phase reopening process. We do have a plan. We just started this new thing. We're calling it an interim service plan is what I'd like to call this instead of a phase reopening. I feel like it just feels better to say that we're still providing services to you. We're not opening, we've never closed for real, completely. So it's a fluid plan. I don't have any dates in it. It's basically 6 different phases of what we could do. And we're probably in about phase 2 right now. Phase 1 would be if we were just completely closed with no services. And I'm hoping I included that in this packet. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I did. So yes, I did. That's good. Okay. See, every week I'm not sure. My brain is not sure what I've done the week before. So I hope you all had a chance to take a look at it. And if you guys have questions for me, you can certainly kind of just throw those out at me and I'll try to answer them. It's been a few weeks since I did it, and I swear every week seems like it's a month long. But it's all, like I said, it's all fluid, and I've already found some new ones that I'm really interested in reading to see if we should change things up. And today we had an email from someone who's been open a few days, 4 days, just talking about the process and saying they've been open for 4 hours a day with someone at the door to kind of say, please go wash your hands right when you get in the building and please wear your mask. And she said people have been extremely responsive and ready to just be in the library again, and that the staff felt really good to be able to be open. I don't think this is in another state. I don't think we're at the same level in our state as they are. So we'll keep monitoring and watching and decide when it's appropriate and safe to reopen. Because we have the child care program in the building, we have to be a little bit cautious. That program is for essential employees and people who need to work. So we want to make sure that we have the space for them. And right now, at only being able to have 10 in a group, they need most of the building to run that program starting in June. So the emergency child care program will end at the end of the month or at the end of the school year. And then this is the summer camp program. But again, still people who need to go to work during this time and are, it has scaled down. We had 60 initially, and I think they've lost like in the teens, some people that are still working from home and don't need the service. So, or don't feel safe bringing their kiddos. And then Amy and Kelly have been working on an FAQ for patrons on the CARES Act and unemployment. They're going to do some training for us on Wednesday for the staff so that we're prepared when we do open the doors to answer questions or when people call. We know that that's going to be a thing. We want to be sure that we're all ready and up to snuff on it so that we can help everybody when they come in. And I just then again mentioned we're still on status quo pretty much. We're still doing our staffing plan. We meet every day in Zoom and it's hard and we miss each other and things happen like books get put into meeting rooms that aren't supposed to be there. And that's just part of this disconnect that we have. We're trying to be as connected, and I'm sure you all understand everybody's feeling it. So we miss our teams. We miss everybody being together, but it seems to be other than that, we're all functioning pretty well. We're fortunate that all of our full-time staff is able to work from home, and a lot of our part-time staff has been able to support our work too. We have brought Marge and Lisa back into the fold. They are not with us. We have not seen them. They work at 5:30 after we've all left for the day, just one of them at a time. So they're in the building alone. Lisa told me the first day it was really, really weird to be in there alone, but she was happy to be back in the library. And so they're kind of alternating days and then doing Sundays and prepping us so that we're ready when Monday hits, because Mondays have been very, very busy with the library hop. So it's helpful to have them in shelving and doing some other work in the background. And then Corey will be added to that mix then this week. So everybody will be working some hours except for Eric, who will just wait until it starts. He comes in every week and says hello to us in Zoom and then goes about his day. So it's been nice to have him, and he tells us a joke from his joke book every week. So that's been fun. The curbside continues to be extremely busy. We are probably over, I'd say over 500 or over 600 now. We had 554 about 2 weeks ago. So I'm sure we're well over, so probably closer to 800 by now. We do typically about 20 to 25 a day. And Coralville has been way busier than us, and I think we're going to see that ramp up now that we've opened our holds back up. We had 265 holds reactivate a couple of weeks ago on a Friday, and of those, 60 were ready. So Andrew was scurrying about the library, pulling all those holds off the shelves and getting them ready to go out to patrons. And I'll tell you what, when one of those folks comes in, so we are, since they're going out overnight, we're quarantining those books. We know that most of the books are not going out just by virtue of how we're doing the library hop. So we haven't been doing an official quarantine on them. They go back on the shelves and they're quarantined by us being closed. But with the holds, because the turnover is quicker, we are quarantining them for 24 hours, which is what the last recommendation we had from the CDC. I know there are other libraries doing a lot longer. But we are doing the full disinfect when they come in and then a disinfect when they go back out. So we feel that we're doing our due diligence. And at this time, they don't have any more information for us. The OCLC, which is a national organization, and some other groups have been planning a study to see if we need to quarantine them longer, but they're 2 weeks behind. So we don't know when that's going to be released or when we'll have more information. So some people are quarantining them for 2 weeks. Some people are doing 7 days. Some people are doing 3 days. Some people are doing overnight. We're choosing to do the 24-hour quarantine right now. We get the books out of the drop box with the gloves. We spray them down with the disinfectant. We put them on a cart. And then the next morning, we check them in and wipe them down and get them ready to go back out to the next hold. And when those get checked in and that hold pops up, sometimes within 15 minutes, we have a call saying, my hold is ready, I want my book. So we are seeing that quick turnaround, and we want to make sure that we're being as safe as we can be with it. So we started a new program last week that I was really excited about. We had a patron call and say he hadn't been out of his house for several weeks because he was afraid to leave his house because he didn't have a mask. And he wondered if we had masks. And then we were like, no, we don't have masks, but we can get masks. So we asked people to donate masks, and we had a lovely person call right away and say she could donate some, and she donated about a dozen. And then one of our friends members who lives right down the street from me and has a mask bush where she hangs masks every day and says, take one, gave me about a dozen more the other day, and then reached out and said she could give us more if we needed it. So we gave the first dozen to our summer camp program so that they have some extras available. And the second dozen we're keeping in the library. We had 2 people already call and ask for masks. So we've been able to distribute those. We just give them out with some notes, please wash your mask before you use it, safe handling of your mask, and all those good things that we already are learning about the virus. So we have been really excited about it. The email we got back from the response we got back from both of those people was just really heartening, and it feels good to do that. It also, for us, it's a chance to combat misinformation about why we have masks and what their purpose is. So we're able to do that in this note. And then encouraging the community to wear them, because as we open, when we open the building, we will be requiring people to wear masks in the building. We are working through that process right now. Each department in the city is working through a mask sort of requirements or guidelines, what we're going to have for each department. And our plan for our building, because of the kids being in there and for various reasons, is to require every patron to wear a mask. From the understanding from the attorney, we are not required to give them a mask, but we want to. We're planning to have a bucket by the door where they can drop them in when they leave, and then we'll just do wash with hot water and bleach at night. And we have several thousand on order. I don't know when they're coming in. They were free for the whole city. So we're hoping those will come in time for that, but otherwise we'll have a small collection of them available. Whew. That's the end of my report. Sorry, I feel like a talking head. Do you guys have any questions? No, nothing. Someone else talk. We can move on to the staff reports. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Again, I don't really want to mull through them for you. They've all been doing their great things. Kelly talked about hers that she's covered. She did yoga today, chair yoga. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to watch it, but she got some really, really good feedback. Someone asked her if she was an instructor, which she is not. She just she does yoga as a student. So, but she's really good at that. She's doing National Stroke Awareness Month next week, I believe. So those are pretty cool. Well, that must not be next week. She has it listed, but we won't be open on Monday. So I don't know about that. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I should highlight for you. Janet just talked about the Wi-Fi use, which is about 275. Some of those will be counted for us when we come in the building. Our devices automatically connect. So some of those are our staff, but there's 6 a day. So when you take that into consideration, there's still a lot of Wi-Fi use. We see people parked in the parking lot pretty regularly, which is pretty cool to see. We plan to leave that router up there so that the signal will continue to be strong in the parking lot when we're open again too. So Janet did her second round of calls, so that's been, or the third maybe, pretty cool. This one was a little harder for because a lot of people were wondering if we were open yet. And Melanie is fastly and furiously dropping off pink flamingos all over the town. She really knows that everyone will help her, but she just doesn't. She just quietly does the flamingos, and if she needs help, I'm sure she'll shout out to us, but so far she has done all of it. One snafu this year, she delivered to the wrong house. She had a number got dropped off on the form. She couldn't see it. And someone emailed her and said, hey, my friend didn't get their flock. And she said, oh, that's because it's about 5 houses down from you. And they were very fine with it. She moved it to a different date. She's sold out, so she did a weekend night for them. And someone apparently got a surprise flocking. So that's even more funny. And what else? I don't know. There's a lot going on. Kayla's doing her diversity audit, which is a huge undertaking, but a really, really cool project. She's been working on that a lot of it nonstop, and now she's got the kits on top of it. So I don't know how she just keeps plugging away and plugging away. And then Erin also got accepted to do a program at ARSL, and she just presented that same thing at Kids First. So that's going to be fun. We still don't know if the ARSL conference will happen in person. It's a September conference, but word is, we have not had word that we're going to have it in person until June 1st. We'll know more. That'll be a board decision here coming up in the next meeting. I would guess we'll be talking about it at our board meeting. So they all talk about their summer reading programs for you, and I know Emily told you more about it today. So I think that is probably enough for your brains. I know it's enough for mine. And Andrew gave you a lot of cool statistics. I really liked seeing his statistics because we don't know what's happening. And we're about at 30% normal capacity, which is still pretty darn good considering our doors are locked and we're not open. So, and most of those have been the primary books going out in the 13s. So. And that's all I got for you.
All right, thank you.
Felt really long-winded. So next up would be the board bylaws. Very exciting.
Yes. Did everyone look them over?
Yes.
Was there any issue with them? Any changes anyone want to make?
The one thing, and I think we brought this up last year and just decided to leave it, where it talks about committees, but we really don't do committee work, but I assume just leave that for future opportunities.
I think we should, partially, I always think it would be great to have committees. it does take more time though. It's a commitment to do that. I could see we talked about it like being like an advocacy committee or an art committee to help out with our art. And that could be a thing in the future because as we start, Tracy and I started a little bit of, Tracy Mulcahy and I did some visiting of other communities to talk about public art. And it's something we'd like to do. So that could certainly come into play at some point. I think it's always good just to have it there.
Yeah. And I'm fine with it. I just picked up on that we really haven't had, at least while I've been here.
I can probably find you one, Heidi, if you want one.
That worked.
The board bylaws are kind of more just for a refresher than anything else. Pretty much our attorney helps with those. And if we really wanted to change anything, it would be a little bit bigger thing to do than our normal passing of policies. My dog has decided to come visit me. So
anyone wants to make a motion to approve them as is for another year?
I'll make a motion to approve them as is.
Right?
I second that.
All right, so moved. We'll keep them as is for another year. Maybe we'll start some committees, go crazy, have a good time.
So does anyone have any questions about the phased reopening or the what we're calling interim service plan? No.
I thought it was laid out really well, so keep us posted if you do end up looking over other ones and changing things, but I thought the number of phases was really good.
We'll be meeting tomorrow as a department, or Wednesday as a department heads, to talk about our action plan, which has been reworked now with the masks and other things that are going to be implemented as we do look at reopening and bringing some of our teams back on board for some of the folks in other departments who have not had everybody on board all at the same time. And then I was going to mention something else in there, but it's slipped. Now it's gone. So it slipped away. It's gone. I don't know what it was. I was going to say something very exciting. And then the last thing is just I always include my council report for you guys, so it's in there just so you can see kind of just what's been going on. Everything's kind of flipped on its head, so it looks a little different than it always has. Without very many pictures because it's a little harder to take pictures with the virtual. One thing that I did not get in here that I'm really bummed about, couldn't find a picture, was, and I know they're there, I just couldn't find it at the time. Amy did an adult story time this month and read some books. And Melanie, there is a group that has llamas who will bring their llama into your Zoom meeting. So Melanie snuck into the background and brought a llama into Amy's meeting right in the middle of her meeting to visit with the people that were there. And they're just doing it for free or but by donation. So I think Melanie must have donated. I told her I would be happy to help, but she never called on me to. So Melanie also had the llama at her house on Mother's Day for her kiddos. So that was funny. The llama's name is Earl, and he wears a unicorn horn and is really decked out with some really pretty flowers and other things. He's pretty great. So we thought that was fun. So we're having a lot of fun despite all the craziness. And we will just continue on.
All right. I would like a link to the llama. I want to know how to
if you scroll through our Facebook or through Instagram, one of them, I know they told me that there's a picture of or I'll look and see if I can find one for you guys when I'm back in the office on Wednesday. The llama's darling. If you're on Melanie's Facebook, you can see the llama there, Earl.
Awesome.
I'm writing myself a note to just send a picture to you guys if I can find it. So if that's all, and then the next thing's new business, Jess. If you want to see if anyone has any.
All right. Does anyone have new business? I would be kind of surprised if we did. I don't think anyone does right now. All right. So any other questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap up then? All right. Who wants to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
We'll make a motion to end the meeting.
Anyone second?
I'll second that.
All right. Well, we are adjourned for another month. Thanks for being here, everybody.
All right.
Stay safe.
See you guys next month.
See ya.
Bye.